Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Total NASL Roundtable. I'm joined by the crew, Jason, Jordan, and Teo. How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing well.
Doing great.
Yeah, so Jordan, let's tackle Fort Lauderdale Indy, a draw. Why aren't you guys
Oh, man.
beating the Strikers, no?
Yeah, that's what we were asking ourselves. But people were wise before the game to recognize that it was going to be trouble for the 11. The Strikers were coming up over the past few weeks. They were starting to put some things together, and this was the one where they really made some things click. So gave us a lot of trouble, and honestly, our whole team played pretty poorly, except for John Bush, who made highlight reel save after save and kept us in it, got us 1 point. So it's not the result we wanted, but, take one on the road, I guess.
And just to know here, this is Jordan's debut on the Roundtable, so welcome.
The debut!
Jordan. Yes. So are you excited that you guys are undefeated so far? Do you think that you can keep it up maybe for the spring or maybe for the fall?
Wow. I mean, either one of those would be pretty great achievements from where we're coming from in our first 2 seasons. So, yeah, there is something to take away from that as a real positive, that we're undefeated for sure. But we've clearly got a lot of work. That Strikers match really exposed what I think we've been leaning towards for a few weeks, and that's that our midfield really needs some course correction. So we've got a lot of things to fix there, but our defense is really solid. We've got a great keeper, and we've got some great pieces on offense. We just haven't gotten them to click quite yet, really because of the midfield struggling to build behind them, I think. So there are positives. We've got some really tough matchups coming, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, so moving on, Jason, another draw for another draw against Miami. A bit surprising here. Shouldn't you guys, and you've been talking very highly of your Carolina RailHawks, shouldn't they have beat Miami FC?
They should have not only beaten Miami FC, but we should not have dropped that loss to Lauderdale the week prior. Look, we were sitting first, a full 3 points ahead of the second place going into the past 2 weeks. We were going to have a 2-game homestand. And what do we do? Over a 2-game homestand, we lose by 2 goals to Fort Lauderdale, embarrassing. And Fort Lauderdale, they were last at that time. And then we draw against Miami when Miami was in last place. So we got 1 point in our 2-game homestand. This is not the tradition that we've really instilled at Wakeman Soccer Park. But yeah, it was a tough draw to swallow because statistically we dominated Miami in everything. In things that we were normally not even good at, that we were actually doing really well with. Possession, duels, all things that we were been traditionally excelling. I think what had happened, though, as I was watching the match unfold, was that though we put in a lot of offensive pressure, I think from the opening whistle that Miami, they were really sitting back and almost playing for the draw. They kind of realized that offensively, they're one of the worst teams in the NASL. This is the second time, I think, this season that Miami had a 0% shot accuracy for a match. Akira had to make 0 saves. This really not they had to do on defense. But offensively, we just could not crack them, and I really felt they just were parking the bus from the opening whistle, and that's how the game went and finished in a draw. We couldn't break through, which is unfortunate. I was expecting more.
And we're just going to touch on your friendly coming up against West Ham. Are you pumped for that one?
Extremely excited. So July 12th. Hopefully all you guys can be there. Any of you West Ham fans out there, welcome to Cary, North Carolina. If you want to see, how often do you get the chance to see an EPL team come to the States, especially playing a lower division team? Quite rare. So something that we're very thankful for the opportunity. And it's going to be a sellout, absolutely a sellout. Before the season started, we played Toluca FC of Liga MX, and we were at maximum capacity of 10,000 people. I'm expecting the same exact thing against West Ham United. So Elijah Wood, if you're also listening to our show tonight, we know that you're a West Ham fan. You're more than welcome to join us in Cary. But no, it's going to be a great time. It's going to be a party. Forget about the scoreline. It's going to be nice to be able to showcase our RailHawks.
Yeah, and West Ham reps came to Wakeman Soccer Park, and they said that the facilities were the best. So, and they are one of the best facilities in North America. Correct, Jason?
It's very pretty. Hopefully, all of you guys at some point you get a chance to make the trek out here. It's a very pretty facility. Obviously, not the biggest. It only seats about maximum, but it's sharp. It looks very professional.
Hey, Jason, if Frodo goes to North Carolina, does that make North Carolina Mordor?
I don't know. I'll take Hobbiton. I don't know. Shoot. I mean, there could be only one, and we want our one to be the RailHawks. I'll leave it at that. You see my my little what's his name? It almost looks like the eye in
The Eye of Sauron.
The Eye of Sauron.
Yeah, I got that sitting behind me right now.
North Carolina is a beautiful state. I think you ought to be offended that Teo would liken it to Mordor. I would think more kind of that little space between Bree and Rivendell. That's what North Carolina feels like to me.
Oh, wow.
So,
well, it is mixed amongst the pine trees,
really
so I think that's perfect.
Yeah, so moving on to soccer. Yeah, we have Cosmos. We lost. You guys are like, yes, Cosmos lost finally. But yeah, we lost to the Eddies. Didn't expect it. And before the match, Dale, your referees, Canadian referees, need to get their acts together. The Cosmos and FC Edmonton were wearing the same color socks, and then he delayed the match for a couple minutes.
Were the referees bringing the socks to the match? Did I miss something there?
No, they had the same color socks. So at halftime, FC Edmonton changed their socks because why would the Cosmos have a different color socks on the road? If you get what I mean. So yeah, we lost. We need to get back to our winning ways against Joe Cole on the Rowdies. Yeah, so Teo, you guys were off on a bye week, and you guys played in the Voyageurs Cup. You beat the Eddies at Edmonton.
Oh yeah. We trounced them. We trounced them in Edmonton.
And you just beat them yesterday, or as you said, almost beat them at TD Place. So can you talk about that match and how it felt to finally make history and Teo experience history right here, seeing his Ottawa Fury go to the next round and play a MLS side. Oh my God, the Vancouver Whitecaps.
Yeah, it's a weird feeling. Aggregate is funny that way in that we had the second leg in Ottawa on the basis of having finished higher than Edmonton last year, and so the home team gets the higher ranked team gets the second leg, and it's a weird feeling to watch your team lose really badly because they looked horrible last night. Yet you have to celebrate that you're advancing in the cup. It's a weird kind of feeling. I was cheering at the end, and to the credit of the Ottawa fans, most of them realized how this works and that they lost 2-0, but they're winners in the end. It's a cool feeling, and there's no doubt that this is huge for Ottawa to host an MLS team, one that is on national television week in, week out. And the bonus is that the semifinal round, which is this new round now of the Voyageurs Cup, is nationally televised on TSN. And so, man, that's just huge. And I was just talking to people today, people who are soccer fans, but like aren't sure about the Fury, and they're not like coming to the Fury every game. Every one of them was like, I heard about this Whitecaps game coming. I'm coming to the stadium. So it's going to bring a lot of people in, and we knew that this was going to be the case. The Fury team, the Fury front office had been gunning for this since its inception in NASL. Had failed on 2 occasions to Edmonton. But as big as the Whitecaps would be, it's nothing compared to what it would be for TFC or Montreal Impact to come into Ottawa. Those are really close to Ottawa in terms of cities that are close to us, and the home crowd, the road team would bring its own crowd in at that point. Montreal more than TFC, but it would still be amazing. But that's looking ahead. I don't want to jinx it. Ottawa is taking on Vancouver June 1st and June 8th, the first match here in Ottawa, June 8th, out in Vancouver.
And we are all going. No, we're not.
We wish.
Road trip. But does the total NASL budget allow for that?
I don't know. If you guys want to donate, you can email us at total. No, I was joking. Yeah, Teo, do you think that the new fans that are going to come in for this Voyageurs Cup match against the Whitecaps, do you see these fans sort of falling in love with the experience, with the atmosphere, and coming back to some type of NASL matches?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think so. I think that one of the barriers that exist here in Ottawa is still the name recognition and the recognition that this team plays professional soccer. It's really hard to break down those barriers. People kind of frown and dismiss whatever it is that's going on when the CFL isn't playing at TD Place. By bringing in the Whitecaps, it immediately gives you like, oh wow, okay, no, this is for real. And it's not to discredit the NASL in any way. It's just that the Whitecaps have been around for 30, 40 years in Canada. This is the real team that's been around for a long time. And when you bring in the MLS teams that have, like I said, national coverage on television, it just gives credibility to the Fury instantly. And so that's the barrier that I think is going to be overcome with this round of the Voyageurs Cup.
Yeah, so looking forward to this weekend's matches. I'm just going to go around with the panel for now and just give your match predictions for Indy 11. Let's start with Jordan against Minnesota.
Yeah, hosting Minnesota, this is probably the biggest match in Indy 11's history. And I don't say that flippantly, but this is the first time we've ever been playing for first place. It's going to be really a big deal. Obviously, first place is contingent on what the RailHawks do, what the Cosmos do, but we've got a game in hand on both of those clubs, and so Minnesota is really the big one to beat right now. And with that in front of us, I say 2-1. It's at home. It's not going to be easy, but I think that it matches up very well for Indy. I think that we'll be able to really hold them, their high-powered offense, with our defense. If we can hold them goal, maybe we can slip one past them, one extra.
And this match is even bigger. It's on beIN Sports, guys. So
right.
Yeah, so everyone should just sit down, watch this match. Jordan's going to be there, right? So it's going to be the best time ever.
Yeah, I'll be
screaming
my head off.
Jason, what are your thoughts on this match and a score prediction?
It's going to be quite tough. Edmonton, they easily have one of the best defenses, but looking into the stats, because it's the first thing I'm going to take a look at, the Edmonton, they've been forcing teams into the worst shot accuracy out of all teams that face any one team. But the RailHawks are actually boasting, as a single team, actually shooting with the greatest shot accuracy. So something's going to give. Edmonton, they're one of the worst with inviting teams to shoot inside the box, and the RailHawks are one of the best of actually taking shots inside the box. So something's going to give. I think that in the past years, these two teams have been very similar, but this year, since we've kind of gone away from our counterattacking style, there could not be more polar opposites in style play. It's going to be interesting, but, I mean, bottom line, our RailHawks, we absolutely need the win. Obviously, Edmonton, they're fighting for it too, considering where they are on the table. But we cannot go into a 4-game slide and expect to make anything of the season. We don't have the game in hand like a Minnesota or Indy has, so we have to make something of it. If not now, then I don't think it's going to happen. So I'm going to say out of desperation, we hopefully scrap out a 1-0 win. That's probably the way that I see it going. You have to consider that Edmonton, they're now playing their 4th game in 2 weeks as well, so they might be a little bit fatigued.
So is your score prediction for Indy against Minnesota?
Oh, mine?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well,
just
for the sake of
RailHawks, it's okay.
Just for the sake of what's the RailHawks need, we're going to be rooting for Indy to win, but it's going to be absolutely tough. I mean, Minnesota, they've been incredible with how tough that they've been playing everybody. Ottawa really snuck one in with a late-minute draw. Very impressed by the way that they were able to finish it out. I mean, outside of that match, outside of that Ottawa game, Carolina's the only other team to put up a goal on them this season. So they're incredibly tough to break down. But considering it's in Indy and they've been having something special going on out there so far, I think they have the talent to pull it off. And the unity and chemistry to pull it off, but it's not going to be easy. Bottom line, I'm going to say it's going to walk away from the stadium with a 1-1 draw.
I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw. There's going to be goals, guys. Theo, what are your thoughts?
I don't see goals in this match. I see
Big fat zeros, right?
Oh, I'm tempted to go 0-0. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go down 0-0.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yes, we give some hope to the Cosmos to win the spring. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Teo, we'll start with you. Thoughts on Rayo against Fort Lauderdale?
Rayo against Fort Lauderdale. Rayo's a team that I'm still pretty high on. I think that they've been trudging along, building their chemistry. They've got the pieces definitely to be one of the top teams in NASL. They're currently 7th with 8 points. They've been getting a lot of draws. Fort Lauderdale is a team that's been picking up a little steam in the past couple of weeks after a terrible start. They're mirroring a little bit what the Fury are doing as well. And so I'm going to go hold on, is this in Oklahoma? Yes, it is in Oklahoma. I'm going to call for a 2-1 Rayo win.
I'm going to go with Teo on that one as well. Jordan, your thoughts?
Yeah, no, this matchup has all the makings of an offensive juggernaut, so maybe a little bit different than the Indy 11 Minnesota match in that regard. I mean, Rayo can score goals, and Fort Lauderdale has just recently started to form an identity as far as their offense goes as well. So I'm predicting 3-2, but I do think that Rayo ends up getting the 3 points, 3-2 at home. I think they have what it takes to pull that off.
And Jason, prediction?
Yeah, considering Fort Lauderdale is the worst possession team and Oklahoma City is one of the best passing teams, I see it's going to probably spell disaster for Fort Lauderdale. But Fort Lauderdale, they've been kind of turning it around the past couple weeks. So this is an opportunity to show if they're for real or not, or if the past couple weeks have just been playing above their heads. I'm going to say Oklahoma City. I'm sorry, not Rayo OKC. I don't know.
3-1? 6-0.
3-1. 3-1.
Okay. So, Teo, your boys in red, if that's what you call them, the Ottawa Fury, host Jacksonville Armada for this very epic match here. What are your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts on the color is actually that's a topic of conversation here in Ottawa this season. We were the boys in black for our first 2 seasons.
It's red. You guys are the Fury.
Well, our home jerseys were black, and so all of our songs had to do with the boys in black. Okay. And then the team sort of pulled the rug from under us on that and went with red home jerseys and no black jerseys at all. And that's not cool in a way. I wasn't a big fan of that. But so anyways,
red, right?
Getting off topic. Now it's red, yeah. Now it's the boys in red. Guess we gotta write new songs. So we're looking at Jacksonville, who are performing exactly the way I thought they would under Tony Meola. You've got two managers here who are trying to establish themselves in NASL. Meola in his first professional coaching job. Dalglish haven't had some success in PDL. Well, he won PDL, but he didn't have great success in USL. But he's trying to go up the ladder. And the team's shown some signs of life, like I said, the past couple of weeks. But then we get a game like last night where they go down 2-0 at home when they're up 3-0. It wasn't a good look for the Fury last night. But whatever he said at halftime had an effect. And I know that Johnny Steele came out in the second half, and he was just on fire. And I'm not talking about the quality of his play necessarily. He was yelling at his teammates, trying to light a fire under the team. and it worked because they were Charlie Hustle in the second half and secured that win. And I think that bringing in Steele was a great choice by Dalglish for that reason, just that spark that they needed at the right time, and he can provide that. All that to say that I think that Ottawa's got this tomorrow, Sunday afternoon, and I'm going to go with a 2-0 score.
I'm going to go with a 3-0 Fury victory. Come on, you guys. Win, please. Jordan, thoughts?
Yeah, I feel for you, Teo, and I would hope the same, but I think that this is the most winnable matchup that Jacksonville is going to have, maybe until the last game of the spring season for them. But I don't think they will win it. I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. I think they have to want to, and there are still enough question marks for the Fury that Jacksonville could potentially make a game of it. So I had to draw, somewhere in here, and I think this is it if it's there. Yeah.
And Jason?
Yeah, so Jacksonville is at a point where, based off the number of losses that they've had on the road, if you considered it a coin flip, their odds of actually losing that coin flip so many times in a row is at a point where they would have been struck by lightning multiple times. It's getting pretty bad. I think Jacksonville is finally going to win on the road, but not this week. I'm going to say that it's going to be 2-1 Ottawa.
Wow, very, very bold predictions. So we're moving on, guys. And Jason already gave us his score prediction. Thanks, Jason, for that.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime.
It's all good. We love your stats. We love everything Jason has to offer to the show. So, Jordan, Carolina, we need them to lose. We want to win the spring, right, Jordan? So
that's right. Both you and me, we need them to lose.
Yeah, we both want to. Yeah.
I'm confused. What's been happening to the RailHawks recently? And on the other side of that, Edmonton has been on a pretty good run. They've had a few wins and a draw over the last few weeks. I think this is a bad matchup and bad timing for the RailHawks. So I'm going to go with a low-scoring game, Edmonton 1-0. Edmonton over the RailHawks.
I'm going to go with a FC Edmonton win 4-0 against the Carolina RailHawks.
Wow.
No, guys, I'm joking.
When do we pick the Cosmos game, John? I'm feeling
It's coming. Retribution, John.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be a great match. So, Teo, thoughts on sort of a very important match for the RailHawks?
Yeah, the form sheet tells me that FC Edmonton's on the rise and the RailHawks are on the decline. I'm going to go with the Eddies here, the little Alberta Rabbits, and I'm going to go with a 1-0 win.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are there any concerns about this fatigue factor of having 4 games in 2 weeks?
There is. That's a really great point, Jason. I think though that the relief, it's a bad word to use in this context, but the relief of not having to worry about the Voyageurs Cup anymore is going to give the players a boost. To be honest, they've had to be. They've gone far. 2 years ago in the Voyageurs Cup, they went to the final. And they were playing Montreal, traveling back and forth across the country. Last year, they were up against
Vancouver,
yeah. Not as far, but still, it's an extra 2 years. I think this is going to just be going to give Colin Miller the ability to go, all right, let's go, boys. This is all we've got to shoot for now.
So moving on, New York Cosmos taking on the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Let's start out with Jason. What are your thoughts on a very important match for the Cosmos and the Rowdies?
Yeah, I think easily Rowdies win 5-0. No, I'm just kidding. No, the fact that Cosmos have not allowed a home goal all year shows that they are such a night and day team right now. I mean, they're honestly, next to Jacksonville, one of the worst road teams at the moment. They've really struggled there, but not because of qualities. Something's up, and I think maybe they just had tough opponents so far. But Tampa Bay now having Joe Cole and the, I guess, presence that he was able to give Tampa Bay this past week was really impressive. I think he actually played better than what I was expecting. I think Tampa, as a team, they have a lot of faith in Joe Cole's presence. The fact that he had the most passes for the team on week 1 shows that they want to go through him. I think that it's going to be a very tough game, but a game that both teams are desperately going to try to win to have any shot at the spring. I could see it being very low scoring, but I think that Tampa might be able to squeeze this one out as they're trying to make their push, and the Joe Cole factor potentially. I think the promo code and having everyone come to New York to see Joe Cole is going to pay off, and I'm going to see the Tampa Bay win 1-0.
Yeah, so you touch on it. I don't like that we have to use Cole as a promo code. And there was a video of Joe Cole on the Cosmos Twitter page. Why are we promoting a Rowdies player? Like, I don't know. It just shows that we're very desperate to sort of get people to the stadium.
Yeah.
We can't promote
agree.
our own players. We can't promote Wanaringo. We can't promote a player that's getting his own bobblehead for Sunday, and he's from Long Island. That's where we play. So why don't you promote the hell out of Carlos Mendez? You know what I mean? And we need to promote Joe Cole. Okay, he played in England, but I don't think people want to come out and see a player that they're only going to see for one match, and maybe one time in the fall. And yeah, I don't know. It's a very tough topic. I don't like talking about it because it's really sad, no, guys?
I couldn't agree more, honestly. It feels like a move that an NBA franchise would try. You know, Kobe Bryant's coming to town. Get your tickets to see LeBron James. You know, it doesn't feel like soccer to me.
I mean, they could have marketed it
and so I don't like that either.
Yeah, I mean, they could have marketed it a different way and said, okay, come see the Cosmos and see Joe Cole, and then explain where he came from, who he used to play for, something like that. But don't really put Joe Cole up here when he should be down here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, support your local club. I mean, I think that marketing material should be directed, to that end first and foremost. So
maybe it was
we'll see how it turns out.
Maybe it was an intern, guys. Fire the intern, right?
Maybe.
Yeah, Teo, what are your thoughts on the Cosmos' biggest matchup ever?
Yeah, well, I'm expecting a huge crowd at Schwartz Stadium. All these closet Rowdy supporters are going to show up with their Cole jerseys. It'll be the right color at least, right? And so, yeah, I agree with you, John, that this is not the way that it should be done, especially for the Cosmos. They're the ones who go out and get the big names usually. To flip the script there and to have to promote Joe Cole. And come on, it's Joe Cole.
I don't want to see him.
It's a big name signing in the context of the NASL. Mm-hmm. Okay. Although I don't live in the States. I was reading Kartik Krishnayer's timeline there on Twitter, and he was making the point that Joe Cole is a bigger name in the States than Raul, simply because Americans watch the Premier League overwhelmingly over anything that Raul did at Real Madrid. So he has a good point there. I just don't know how big a name Joe Cole is to market him for an away team. It's just, I don't know. So, score prediction, I'm going to go with a draw. I think that it's going to be 2-2. Joe Cole 2 goals. No, it will be 2-2 though.
If that happens, then everyone gets like free pizza or something, right? No, that's what happens at the Indy 11 games, right, Jordan? You guys get like French fries, like free French fries at McDonald's the next day. We did not redeem our free French fries. I'm sad, but yeah, fun times in Indy. Never forget. But Jordan, what are your thoughts on this match?
Yeah, with this one, Jason will be able to back me up probably with the specific stats, but let me just say, Tampa Bay Rowdies do not let teams score much. The RailHawks were the only team, I believe, that scored multiple goals on them so far this season. Otherwise, it's been 0, 1 goal. So I think this is going to be low scoring, as Jason said earlier, and I'm going to go opposite way from him, though. I think that the Cosmos have to want to win this so badly. I know the Rowdies do too, but the Cosmos have so much at stake and so much reputation. So I'm going to go 1-0, Cosmos win.
And the biggest part about the Cosmos season is that we decided to have a friendly on Wednesday. So, yeah, so we're flying to Las Vegas, and we're going to play Ibar because they're the best team in La Liga. And then we're going to play them, and then come back home, and then play Rayo OKC because we want to congest our own schedule because that makes so much sense, right, guys?
Yeah, it makes no sense to me. That's just bananas. I hate mid-season friendlies unless it's the NASL mid-season, the actual stoppage that month that they're off. No. It's an insult to your fans to play these games, I find, especially if you're going out to Vegas to do it. Like I talked about this on the Nightcap a couple of weeks ago. There must be other things that we don't know about, a business deal somewhere that is involved in this, that this is a small part of it, because it just, on its own, in a vacuum, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, like what Teo said, there has to be something behind it. People are saying, like, oh, this is a test to see if we can have a Las Vegas club in the NASL. Maybe that could be something going. But Ibar, we're in New York today, so wow. They could have played today. No, I don't really know. But, yeah, hopefully we see some reserve side. I mean, not some reserve sides. Hopefully we see some Cosmos B players potentially start in this match because I don't really see a lot of first-team players getting minutes midweek, no?
We'll see. That's up for debate. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So moving on, guys. U.S. Open Cup, 4th round pairings were released when we didn't play our 3rd round yet. So the New York Cosmos. Yeah, Teo can't participate in the Open Cup. Well, his club can't. He could if he wants.
Could he? Could he though? I mean, really?
If the Cosmos sign me, I'm up for it.
Yeah, Teo can start up front alongside Arietta.
Yeah. How far away are you from Ohio?
Ohio is quite a ways, actually.
It's
okay. It's about I would say a 7 to 10 hour drive in that neighborhood.
Well, if you're willing to make the trip to Columbus, you can have the chance to see Joe Cole play if they beat FC Cincinnati.
Well, I'll tell my wife that there's a road trip coming up.
And now FC Cincinnati is going to use the promo code Joe Cole too.
Well, it's at Tampa Bay.
Oh, they're going to use it as well, right?
Cincinnati doesn't need promo codes.
They're players, so.
I was joking, FC Cincinnati. Don't fire me. But Richmond Kickers are playing the Fort Lauderdale Strikers, and the winner plays DC United, MLS, all in the house. The weirdest part about the Armada 4th round pairing is they were supposed to play a club called the Villages, but for some reason, which is really stupid, and I've never heard of this before in the Open Cup, but it happens a lot, they played a player that was not registered to play in the Open Cup, so they got eliminated from the tournament.
Is that official? I hadn't heard that yet, that they were eliminated.
Yeah, it is official. And,
if you want to read a good piece, by the way, on TotalNASL.com, go read Jordan's piece. He talks about the Villages in the piece.
Great plug.
Very briefly. I won't be talking about them anymore, apparently.
Well, that was such a good story. That's the essence of the cup. You know, like that's why you play cups.
Thank God.
And now
at least I focused on the Lansdowne boys more than Villages, so I don't think they're going to get disqualified.
So the Armada are playing the Battery instead. That makes it a tougher match. Now, before they're like, okay, we're going to win this, and we're going to go play Orlando City. Now you really have a difficult match playing a USL side. Best of luck, Logie.
And it's USL side that beat them in the preseason.
Yes. So maybe they lose this, and maybe the Battery play Orlando City. Crazy stuff. FC Cincinnati takes on the Rowdies. The winner takes on the Crew, like what Jason said. And then we have Jordan's Indy 11. You guys are...
Oh, yes.
Yes. You guys can play against Chicago Fire. That would be huge, right? The question is, who will Peter
Wilt would be.
support?
It's going to be the trophy for that matchup is going to be a little Peter Wilt bobblehead.
Yeah. That'd be fitting. Yeah, that'd just be the icing on the cake. I mean, we'd have to get through Louisville first. We didn't get through them last year. It was a heartbreaking match. But we'll see if it do that. I don't know what Peter would do. Honestly, I could see him just staying at home and watching remotely or something. I know he's so into it. That's the thing, but he wears his heart on his sleeve. We love him here. I know that the people in Chicago love him too, and that's a big part of why. He's always heart on his sleeve. So I can't visualize him at that match because I think he would explode. So.
Oh no! Don't explode, Peter Wilt. We love you. We really do love you. But we're saying that with our heart, Peter Wilt.
Isn't there also isn't the Oklahoma Derby on? Like, is that happening?
Yeah,
it's happening.
That's a big one.
And can we briefly mention how the Oklahoma City Energy got there? It was a 0-0 match, and in penalty kicks, at a penalty kick scoreline of 10 penalty kicks to 9, they beat Mississippi Brillo.
Oh, I love Cups, guys.
They both had saves in the 10th round.
Oh.
they both got a save in the 10th round. So it was in the 11th round that the Energy got theirs and Brillo missed it.
So Teo, I want to ask a Canadian what he thinks about the Open Cup. Do you watch it, or you're like, well, I don't care, it's American?
Yeah, no. I pay attention to it. I think hardcore soccer fans here pay attention to it, especially in the later rounds. But it's not something that's in the consciousness of anyone, really. I love it because I love soccer and I love cups especially. And those that follow Canadian soccer closely sort of look at the U.S. Open Cup with envy, because you guys have got, I think, the record, going from your piece today, I think, Jordan, 92 teams in the Open Cup.
Yeah.
It's a record. And wow. That we have 65.
Well, you could look at it in another way and say, well, we could potentially win this easily. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's no. That's not the idea of a cup for me. A cup should be open.
Good man.
First of all.
No, yes. I totally.
Yeah.
And I totally get that, but.
But I mean, I get your point, John. Like.
Yeah. Because the Cosmos, it's gonna take like forever for us to win the cup. You know what I mean? Hopefully this year's the year, but who knows? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in Canada, like, this year could be the Fury's year. You're almost there. You know what I mean?
And Edmonton came within a whisker 2 years ago of beating the Impact in the final.
Okay.
And the Impact in 2009 had won the Voyageurs Cup and did go to the CONCACAF Champions League, where they performed really well. And so that possibility, I get your point, John, that you could just reach out and touch the CONCACAF Champions League in a way and go, wow, that would be special to get like Tigres or
Club America.
That's the one I was looking for. Club America, Alajuelense, all these teams, you know. Well, but it's the dream is there, but I prefer a huge cup with lots of teams where you've got North Bay playing, I don't know, Moose Jaw.
And private teams like
are these real?
These are real places in Canada. Yes.
The ultimate team name that I've ever seen: Aromas Cafe FC taking on Chesterfield.
Oh yeah, that's right.
They're 5,000 to 1 odds that they had.
Yeah. So that to answer your question, John, that's how I look at it. I'm like, man, with envy, because that's what we should be shooting for. The CSA, the Canadian Soccer Association, has said that they're ready to open up the cup to a larger group of teams, and we're just waiting for that, because that would be awesome too. To have
so cool.
Have just, it's an organizational nightmare because of the size of the country, but if we had just a little bit of money pumped into it, we could get those small teams in regional tournaments and just get them to rise.
Yeah. One cool storyline going with what you're saying, just seeing like the little team make that Cinderella run. We are now guaranteed to have a 5th division team make the 4th round of the tournament.
That's
because
awesome.
You have 2 5th division teams between La Quinta and LA Wolves. They're both 5th division. They're going against each other for the rights to play the LA Galaxy.
Are La Quinta sponsored by La Quinta?
It's Ma Quinta. La
Ma
Ma
Quinta.
Quinta.
Never mind, that joke makes no
Or, I'm
sense.
sorry, there's no team there. La Maquina. I'm sorry, La Maquina FC.
Oh, take Spanish class. No, I'm joking.
We are going to get angry comments from the fans of that club. That's all I have to say.
Because they're watching.
I apologize. I've got really small font on my screen right now.
We
I'm
do
sorry.
apologize to anyone that we offended. Hopefully, you guys don't take it to the comments to attack us. We do apologize. So, Teo, we're going to send it to you to your own segment. This is new. Teo's own segment.
Wow, and it's news to me. Let's go.
No. I'm just going to throw it to me. He's going to talk about some hottest news in the NASL. Teo.
Okay, so it was Jonathan Tannenbaum today who, Tannenwald, I keep saying Tannenbaum like he's one of the Royal Tannenbaums. Jonathan Tannenwald, he tweeted today that he was talking to someone who's involved with wanting to bring the NASL to Philadelphia. And there are rumors that this whole Ibar trip is sort of linked into Ibar buying a stake. He did mention a Spanish team buying a stake in this Philadelphia NASL club. So that's the news that was basically he hasn't written his piece yet, so we'll be waiting for that. But it sure is interesting that the NASL is not afraid to go into MLS markets. This on the heels of the news that they want to bring back a team in Atlanta. So direct competition with MLS is not something that the NASL fears.
Yeah, maybe Ibar could be that partner. Who knows, right? Yeah. Ibar has 6,000 seats in their stadium. Great story right there. And maybe they can build another great story in Philadelphia to try to compete with the Union. But say if it is Ibar, they probably don't have that much money to sort of pour, not everything, but most of the resources that you would want them to invest into a team, no?
Ibar are being relegated, I believe, from La Liga.
Okay.
They're going into second division, and it's not exactly a team that you think of when you think of La Liga. Let's be honest. And so they would just be a mind, and we're not sure it's Ibar. It's a Spanish team, right? But if it was Ibar, like we know that it would be a minority stake. It would be like a small part of it. It wouldn't be the majority of it.
Yeah, so moving on into some other big news, Niko Kranjcar might be going to Rangers FC. Me, a Cosmos supporter, talking about this news, crazy times. I met him, I talked to him, the best guy in the world, the best guy to ever come to New York and play for the Cosmos, and now he's going to go to Rangers. Or is he? That's the big debate right here. The weirdest part, like, so many UK outlets are reporting on this. So the last article I read is that his girlfriend sort of told him to move to New York because she's an actress and she's on Broadway and all that. Now, Niko has to try to explain to her and try to bring her to move to Scotland. So that may never happen. And I think that's my only hope, that Niko might stay in New York, because how do you bring your girlfriend to Scotland? There's no Broadway there. There's nothing there.
No, they do have haggis. I mean,
okay, but it's not as big as Broadway. You know what I mean? You want to go to New York, the biggest city in the world, to pursue your career. Niko wants to go to play for Rangers. Or does he? I don't know.
Rangers were promoted to the Scottish Premier League after spending a couple of years in the wilderness, after they had some financial troubles there. So they're going to be playing back in the top league where they should be playing against Celtic and Hearts and all of those guys. And if it's more than a one-year contract, you would imagine that there's some European football on tap, possibly for Kranjcar. So I understand the draw that the drawing power of playing in Europe brings for especially a European. He's Croatian. But there's also the factor that it's New York, and his actress girlfriend is right. It's the bright lights. It's a great city to live in. So if you can afford it. But yeah, those are my thoughts on it.
Yeah, if you look at it on the other side, Kranjcar has played most of his career in Europe, You know what I mean? So he already experienced that. So this is like a new challenge, and I don't see him going back to Europe. He already played there, even though it's great. Everyone sort of dreams to play in Europe. You know what I mean? But I think this is sort of like a new challenge, and he's only been here for 7 matches. So there's some type of communication between the Cosmos and Niko. And me personally, I think he stays on. But hopefully it's for more than just a fall season deal, because I don't want to see him signing, oh, he's just here until the fall season, and then that's over, and then Rangers wants him some more. No, sign him for like two more years. That'll be great. So that concludes our chat tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Any last words, guys?
Let's not miss the forest for the trees here. I'm just looking at the spring season table. We've got one heck of a race going on for the spring season championship. It's going to be entertaining. We're heading into the home stretch of this sprint, and there's 1 and 2 points that separate the top 4 teams. So it's going to be entertaining. Tune in, guys.
Yeah. So before we go, I want you guys to put your club allegiances aside. Starting with Jason, who do you think is going to win the spring?
Minnesota has everything stacked in their favor right now. We talked about them having a game in hand, and that last game of the season for them, that game in hand is against freaking Miami. So I feel like they're set pretty nicely to steal us after going from last place. They were the last place team after week 1 all by themselves, and they literally stormed up the table to first. So I think they'll get it done.
Jordan?
Yeah, Jason is absolutely right. A lot rides on this game between the Indy 11 and Minnesota United, but just as he said, they're in the best position to do it, hands down. So I'll also go with Minnesota. I think that a possibility would actually be Edmonton if it's not Minnesota. They also have a really nice schedule coming up, and just as Theo said, it's going to be a phenomenal finish to the season.
And Theo?
I'm not changing my pick from the preseason. It's going to be Minnesota. I really believe that. They have the game in hand, and they're just stacked. They're the best team on paper in the league, and I think they're going to take this championship.
And I want to be the most biased person on the show, and I want to say my New York Cosmos.
You told us to put allegiance.
Yeah, exactly. You said put your bias aside.
I know, but I can't, guys. I just can't. I don't want to see Minnesota do it. Wow. I don't want to see Indy do it. And I don't want to see Edmonton coming out of nowhere and winning the spring. No, guys, Cosmos.
I'm telling you, that is a possibility.
Yes, the Cosmos are going to win it. You know it, Jordan. You know it. So I lied. That wasn't the last thing. I just thought Richie Ryan transfer, biggest news ever. Theo, he used to play for Ottawa. You sort of know Richie Ryan, not personally, but you interacted with him. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on this transfer? Big news for Miami FC and the NASL. Potentially, this is going to start the move for bigger transfers, hopefully, in the league.
Yeah. Biggest transfer in U.S. history, $750,000 is what's being rumored. And he played 6 or 7 games only for Jacksonville after a transfer from Ottawa. So he's had 2 transfers back-to-back. And for me, the big story is the money. And 2, whether or not there was something going on in Jacksonville. He was brought in to be their captain, and now they're transferring their captain away. Was it not being able to say no to that amount of money, or was it there were issues going on with the club and Richie Ryan, the management? So I don't know. I'm just putting that out there.
What was that return on investment? What was that return on investment for Jacksonville? After selling,
we don't know. All we know is that Ottawa didn't get near that amount for Richie Ryan in the offseason. Nowhere near.
I'm just speculating and just throwing like some stupid things out there. But maybe the Armada couldn't pay his wages. No, I'm just joking. No. I'm just having some banter with the Armada fans. So thank you everyone for tuning in. You can catch us next week. Follow us on Twitter at TotalNASL. And a couple of plugs here. Check out NASL Nightcap. I was on it. If you guys want to hear me and you want to hear Tail, we have some great chemistry on that show. So
cute chemistry.
Yeah,
cute chemistry. Yeah.
Yes. So go check that out. It's the best episode ever. In the 18 episodes that have been produced, I think number 18 is going to be the one that you would never forget because I was on it. And then, yeah, you can check out Jordan's piece about the U.S. Open Cup. So much discussion going there on Twitter. Shouts out to Jordan for running a hell of a piece. And Jason is going to have a preview about the RailHawks and probably talk about some more stats. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Comment below. What do you guys think about what we talked about? And subscribe if you're new. And see you guys next week.